Welcome to The Spread, your one-stop shop for options news and options news accessories. This week, Cboe held its annual press lunch in Chicago. I was there along with JLN's editor-in-chief, Sarah Rudolph, fellow editor Suzanne Cosgrove, and of course, John. During the meeting, Cboe's Ed Tilley and Chris Isaacson went over Cboe's plans for the next year, from its expansion into Europe to its tech innovations, such as its newly integrated trading platform and its research and data platform, which is scheduled to roll out this year. Suzanne wrote a great summary of the meeting, which you can find on our website, but I wanted to mention a couple of bits and bobs that were brought up during the meeting that didn't quite make it into the article. As well as expanding into Europe, Cboe is, of course, moving back into their old home in the Chicago Board of Trade building. Like a hungry hippo gobbling up marbles, Cboe seems poised to grow. Not saying anything for sure yet, but my theory is that some of that space will eventually be occupied by smaller tech firms gobbled up by Cboe to provide support for the new trading platform, or maybe develop completely new products. Tilley said that the move to Cboe's old space is not going to be a full capacity move, implying they're expecting to fill out the space over time. Throughout the lunch, there was also a lot of talk about the presidential election creating demand from traders for more VIX expiration dates to hedge long positions, which isn't that unusual for an election year, especially if we're talking about positions that expire around November. This year, though, Tilley says that there's been demand for additional VIX data, not just around Election Day, but around the time that the Iowa caucus and presidential primaries take place in February and March, which is not only unusual, but unprecedented for this early in the election cycle, according to Tilley. That may be true, but it's not entirely inexplicable. Election years tend to be volatile times for the markets, especially close to the election. This time around, things are a bit different. The Republican nominee is, spoiler alert, Donald Trump, but the rest of the race up to November of this year will vary depending on who wins the Democratic primary in March. Each of the frontrunners, Uncle Joe, Bernie Sanders, Elizabeth Warren, and Mayor Pete, have very different plans for running the country, and most of them have promised significant regulatory reforms for banks and other large businesses, especially those that primarily deal in fossil fuels. We'll have a clearer idea of who will win the Democratic primary depending on the outcome of the caucus in February. This is probably why options traders seem to be betting on the markets getting more volatile in February as well as March, right around the presidential primary election on Super Tuesday. Keep tuning into The Spread for more updates. We'll see you next week, and as always, happy trading.